So I leave basic training maybe the 1st of July, 1st or 2nd of July, '96, and I get to El Paso, Texas, Fort Bliss, and I stay in AIT from July to September of 1996. Um, After I graduate from advanced individual training in Fort Bliss, my first duty station was Fort Riley, Kansas. And so I go from Brooklyn to Oklahoma, from Oklahoma to Texas, from Texas to now Kansas. Um, Never been in any of these places. And now I'm getting the freedom to maneuver around a little bit more because I'm not in training. I'm in what they call the regular army now. I'm at a duty station. It's, get up, go to work, do what you got to do. And then you're off at the end of the day. And I'm thinking life is going to get a little bit better. And so at this time, my wife had been staying with my mom because after we got married back in April of that year, when we came home that night and, everybody, people were coming over kind of congratulating us and things of that nature. She was like, well, I remember we were there, we had got married and it was getting late. And I was like, well, let me, get ready to take her back to her cousin's house. And my mom said, well, she can stay here. And I'm like, she can stay here. She said, yeah, she can. She's like, you married now. She's your wife now, so she can stay here. And so my wife stayed there that night. Now, obviously, she's pregnant. We're married, but the night the day we got married, that night was the first time my wife and I had actually slept together. No pun intended. That was the first time we actually slept together when we had gotten married, which is a little different, I guess. But yeah, so she had been staying with my parents at that point, and I winded up shipping and, like I said, going to basic training in AIT. So now I'm in Kansas, and I'm trying to figure out Kansas. I'm trying to figure out what it is. And I was there for about 2 months. Thanksgiving rolls around. I buy her a plane ticket. My son was born. In August. So now it's November. She's coming down for Thanksgiving. My son was born in August. So she had the baby. My son's 3 months. I'm in Kansas. She comes to Kansas. We was up at On Post Lodging. We had a little room at On Post Lodging, and I remember we spent that weekend. She got there on a Wednesday. Maybe a Tuesday. But I know she was there for roughly a week. I think it was like a Tuesday. I think maybe she did get there like on a Tuesday evening. And she stayed from that, Tuesday evening to Sunday evening, through Thanksgiving through Sunday, and she left. And I remember on Thursday, Thanksgiving Day, we was in the hotel, and I didn't know anyone. I had only been at the duty station for maybe 4 or 5 weeks, 6 weeks, I don't know. And so we ate TV dinners for Thanksgiving. Like we went and got all this microwave stuff And we tried to have a Thanksgiving, and so we had a Thanksgiving in the hotel room, the best we knew how. And we got up the next day, Friday, and she said, we got to find an apartment because I'm not staying in Brooklyn and you're not staying here by yourself. And we got in the car and we drove all through the town. We had a newspaper. This was back then you had a newspaper. We had the classifieds, and we had they had another thing that in the small towns in the South, they got these pamphlet type magazines, and it lists all the houses that's for rent and apartments that's for rent and apartment complexes that have rentals and so on and so forth. And so we had one of those, and we had the newspaper, and we found this apartment. Found a 1-bedroom apartment, 1 bedroom, 1 bath in the building, little apartment building. It was two apartment buildings, and each building had 6 apartments. It was 2 apartments on each floor, and so 1 bedroom, 1 bath. It was at the top of the unit. It was on the 3rd floor, and we got it for $300 a month. We got the 1 bedroom, 1 bath apartment for $300 a month, plus electric. We had to pay the electric bill, right? The water was included, but we had to pay the electric bill. And we found that apartment in that weekend that she was there. Which we found that apartment. We found our apartment on Friday, I believe. We found our apartment on Friday, and we told the lady we was going to take it. And I had told her that, she knew I was in the Army and it was a private, even when I didn't have no money. But I did sign the lease, and I gave her like $100. And I was like, I could come, I give you $100 to hold it. And when I got paid, Thanksgiving is at the end of the month. So I was going to get paid like in another few days. And when I get paid, I can come back and give you the rest of the rent, because she didn't even charge us a security deposit. She just wanted the first month's rent in advance. And so I gave her the $100, signed the lease. That was Friday. Saturday, I got up, went to the bank. I took out a counter loan, over-the-counter loan, for $1,200. It was old Sergeant Major in there who was the loan officer, and I told him what I was trying to do and how I had this wife and this brand new baby and trying to get them to stay down here. And so he gave me this loan for $1,200, and they prorated it back out of my check, because this was at a military bank. This was a Fort Sill National Bank, so they did what they called allotments out of my check, where they took the money and paid the bank back over the course of 12 months, over the course of 12 or 15 months or something, because I think it broke down to like $78 or $81 that they was taking out of my check, and I had to pay it back over like 15 months or something. So I get this $1,200, and my wife is sitting next to me with the baby in the baby seat, and we get this $1,200, and he tells us good luck, and he says, look, I got a friend who's a manager of a furniture store, and they're going out of business. You should go down there and see him. Tell him I sent you. And he said, go down there now. And so we get in our car, and we take the back road. And I remember we went off post, and we excited that we got an apartment. We got $1,200, and we're going to try to get some furniture with $1,200. Now, the challenge is we got to furnish a whole house with $1,200. We got to buy a living room set, a dining room set, a bedroom set, get a crib or a bassinet or something for the baby to sleep in. And whatever else we think we needed to squeeze out of that $1,200, we need to get it so that we can move into this apartment, so we can start our lives as adults. Yeah. And so we was on our